you guys, my name is Jonavi, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to set up your environment for creating your own website. So let's get started. First of all, I want you guys to download the application Notepad++. So you're just going to go to Google and you're going to type in Notepad++, and you're going to click on this first link, which is going to take you right over here. And I want you guys to click on Notepad++ 7.8 Standard Hong Kong. You're going to click on it and you're going to download it based on whatever is best for your computer. The download the 32-bit, or you're going to download the 64-bit. And then also based on if your computer is a PC or a Mac, you're going to change what you're downloading. So I already have Notepad++ installed. Eventually you guys will too, and you open it up. So the first thing you do is that you're going to click over here, plus, and you create a new document. I want you guys to put in on the document everything that I've written here, where it's doc type HTML, because this is going to be an HTML document. HTML language English, like this. You're going to have an opening header for your head, a closing header for your head, opening tag for your body, a closing tag for your body, and then of course the closing tag for HTML. So you guys type this all in. You can pause the video over here if it'll take you minutes to type it in, but once you're done, come back and I'll show you guys what to do next. So I'm assuming at this point you guys have typed it all in, and now let's get to what we need to do next. So I want you guys to save that document. So I'm going to copy this over and just put it inside my new document, and I'm going to Control V. It's over here. Control S now, or you can click File, Save As, and we want to call this index.html. And we're going to go to our Documents folder, and we're going to make a new folder. New folder. And call it whatever you want to. For example, for me, I'm gonna call this Jonavi's Super Cool Website. Hit enter, go into there, and then save your documents. Now you have your document saved as index.html, and other people are going to show you how to make your website super cool. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff.
Hey everyone. So hopefully now you've been able to set up your environment so that you can build your website. Also, one thing to note is if you have a Mac, Notepad++ actually cannot be downloaded on a Mac. So you can look up something called Atom, which I have here and I've downloaded. And you can download it on the computer and follow the exact same steps that Jonavi showed to set up a file. And it should work the same way, just in a different text editor. So now that we have a file set up for our HTML, we will talk about what all this means. So HTML is a language that is used to create websites, and every single website and the entire internet uses HTML. And the main part of HTML is something called tags, which are these little pieces of text that you see here. There's something called an opening tag, which is a little angle bracket followed by the name of the tag, followed by a closing angle bracket. So this is an opening HTML tag. Similarly, each opening tag is paired with a closing tag, which is an angle bracket, a slash, the name of the tag, and then a closing angle bracket. So this tag closes this tag. And similarly, head is a tag that's opened here and closed here. Body is also a tag that's opened here and closed here. And what you can think of these things as is like containers that you want to put different elements in. And those different tags will control different types of things you put on your web page, like text, images, links, and you'll see all those things in this video, and it'll make more sense as we start doing more. But basically, this HTML tag contains the whole web page. You can think of it as everything on the screen. The head is going to contain any information about our web page that is not necessarily something that you can see on this site, but is essential to different parts of the site, and we'll see more of this later. And body is what contains the actual content on the web page, and text, images, all that will go inside body. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, let's just say I wrote something in body and I just said, I don't know, I just typed something random. Once I save this file, I can actually go to wherever you save the file. So you might have put your desktop or your documents in some folder like Jonavi showed you, and you can open this in the browser. So if you like double click the file, or if you right click and open with some web browser, it should open this web page in the browser. So now this file corresponds to this website. So this is the beginning of my website. And you notice that I put it inside body and it appeared here on the page. If I put it inside head, it won't actually appear, but one thing I will show you is the first tag we'll learn is something called title. So title, just like all the other tags, has an opening portion and a closing portion, and the content for that tag will go in between it. So the title of my web page, I'm going to say is Ishan's web page. And if I save this file and I refresh the web page, the name in the browser right up here is changed. That's what this title tag does. Whatever you put here is the title of your browser. And another tag we'll learn about is called paragraph. So paragraph is specified with the P. And so a lot of text editors you'll see will help you develop by highlighting both like the opening and closing tags together so you can see. And if I type anything in paragraph, this is a paragraph, it will put it, and I save it, it'll put it here in paragraph font. So paragraph is just like a regular font size, regular text that you'd see. Anything like that, it would be a paragraph. There's another type of text tag called a heading tag. Heading tag is like what you'd use for big, bold text that you'd want to put at the top of your page. Something along the lines of, welcome to my website. So I have something called an H1 tag. H1 stands for heading 1. And I have a closing H1 tag. And I'm going to write welcome to my website. And what you'll see is when I save this and refresh, I have my heading, welcome to my website. And I also have my paragraph that I wrote right underneath it that says this is a paragraph. So there are 6 types of headings actually, H1 through H6. And what you can see is that the different numbers correspond to how big the text becomes. So if I make an H3 tag, an H4, an H5, and an H6, these will all, and once I save it, these will all show up on my web page in different sizes. So I save the file, I refresh. So this is H1, this is H2, this is H3, 4, 5, 6, and then this was my paragraph. So you notice that all these tags that I said display, just display in the same order on the web page. They just display in different ways depending on what type of tag it is. So that's like the basic for text. And what you want to always make sure you're doing is the text that you want to display is contained between the opening and closing tags of that type of text. And all of your tags should be contained between the body, opening and closing tags. This means that you want to put all of these in the body. You don't want to have something like this, where I put paragraph outside of body, because this won't work. And I also don't want to do something like this, where I open paragraph, type the text, and close paragraph outside of the body. This red highlighting is showing that I'm doing something wrong. So I don't want to do that. Now that you have something like this, you have the basics for creating any text on a web page. So feel free to pause the video now, write whatever you want that you want to put on your website, like maybe a description about myself and like, hey, I'm a senior at Penn or something like that. Study computer science, and I'll put that in a paragraph tag and put that on my website. And I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to say Ishan's web page in bold. I'm going to get rid of this paragraph and save it. So now I have the text that I want for now on my web page. And feel free to pause the video, add whatever text you want, as much as you want. You can add multiple paragraph tags, multiple heading 1 tags. They don't. You can have as many as you want. And see, and I can show you that by just doing this. So you can add as many as you want. You can put them below the paragraphs. It doesn't matter, whatever order, whatever number, all that is up to you. That's how much you can customize the websites. So once you do that, feel free to move on to the next part of the video, which is about how to put an image on the website. So now if you reach this part of the video, I'm assuming that you've put some text on your web page and now you're ready to learn how to put an image on your web page. So let's say I want to put an image of the Philadelphia skyline on my web page. So I can Google an image I want to find. Let's say I like this one. So I like this image. I will right click on it and I'll save image onto my computer, and I'll save it, and I can call it whatever. I'm going to call it PHL. But what you really want to do is make sure you save it to the same folder that has your HTML file in it. So if you notice here, it's called phl.jpg. So you need to remember what it's called, and what you can do is put image, make an image tag and a closing image tag, and instead of putting any text in between it, what you want to do is use something called an attribute. So an attribute is something you put in between the tag name and the last angle bracket. So here, a source is an image attribute. And what I can do is in the quotes, I can put the name of my file. So if I put phl.jpg in quotes, then I'm telling this HTML image tag that the source of my image comes from this file that I've downloaded. This is different than text, because in text I would put something here, right? But I can't type out an image, which is why it's done like this. I reference another file that I have that I want to display. So if I save this and I refresh my web page, you'll see that now this image that I just downloaded is on my website. Another thing you can do is add an attribute for width and height. So if I specify these numbers, which are pixels, so this means the width of my image is 500 pixels and the height is 300 pixels. And I save it and I refresh, it'll scale it to that size. So now this is width 500 and height 300. And obviously you can change it to whatever you want. If I make height 100, it'll become super flat. I don't want that, so I'm going to change it back to 300 and leave it. So that's how I put an image onto my web page. And now you've learned how to create a regular tag and some text. You've also learned how to create an image tag and use attributes to change the styling of the image. And in the future videos with Sophia and Ximing, you'll learn about how to put links on your web page and how to make lists on your website.
All right, hi guys, my name is Sophia and I'm a sophomore studying bioengineering and some computer science. So I'm going to show you guys how to add links to your HTML code. So in the p tag, as you guys already know, you can just type anything that you would like and it'll show up on your website. So in the p tag, there's another tag called the a tag, and this is what allows you to hyperlink to other websites. So we open up a new p tag and then we open the a tag, and then since we've opened it, we need to remember to close it as well. And then in the first a tag, like the open tag in the brackets, you add an href, which is where you will put your website inside quotes. So you can add the link to the website. You can just link to Google. And then in between the open and the close tag is what you want the website to say for the link. So you can say this is a link. Save and refresh. And now we have this clickable link here that's going to open up Google. So say you wanted it to open up in a new tag. Inside the open tag where we put the href, you can put the target and it'll be _blank. And this will, when you click the link, open up in a new tab. So the default for the target tag is called self, and it'll do what it did before, which is just open up in the same tab that you're already in. So I'm gonna put this blank. So another thing that you could want is for when you hover over the link for it to say something. So you would do this by putting a new thing called title. And here you would put whatever you wanted to say when you hover over. So we can do Google ! When we refresh and you hover over the link, it says Google, like we wanted. So another thing that you could want to do is link to another page that you create. So like another page in your website. So what we can do is we can make a new file. We'll just copy and paste the old stuff, and we can save it in the same place that you have the first file. So we'll call it links2. So In order to link to that page, in your reference, your href, you would put the title of the other page. So links to .html. We'll keep it in the same tab. We'll say this is a link to links to. So now when we refresh, it goes to the other website. Now in links 2, what we can do is we can just link it back to links 1 and we'll create an infinite loop, links.html. We'll get rid of all this stuff. Okay, when we refresh this, we're just making a nice little infinite loop from the one to the other. So the files should be within the same folder, but if you put one of them nested within another, as long as you make the reference trackable from where you started, it's fine. So like if you put the links HTML in a folder called like access or something, you could do just access and then so as long as you give it the proper reference to where it is located in reference to the original website, it will be able to find where you've put the link. But it is probably useful to just keep everything in the same folder. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, there will be office hours this week. And
hello everyone, my name is Simin, and I'm a freshman at Penn majoring in computer science. And let's talk about ordered and unordered list in HTML today. So HTML lists are used for bullet and numbered list for different items, and it could also use for navigations. For example, the table of contents is a list, and we could get to anywhere inside the website by this navigation. And let's first talk about the unordered list. So unordered list is basically the bullet point list, and it's using the UL for the tag, which is the initial of unordered list. And in the code, if you want to type the angle bracket, we have to use the HTML entities because the angle bracket is a reserved character in HTML, and it will be confused with the tags if you use it. So we need to use NLT semicolon as the name of the left angle bracket, and NJT semicolon as the name of the right angle bracket. And for each items in the list, we are going to use the LI tag, which is an initial for list items. And for the ordered list, it's like this. So it's a numbered list. And we are using the tag OL, which is the initial of ordered list. And for the ordered list, we can have the start equals some number. So which means the list is start from the number A. And for example, this is the ordered list start from 0. So it should be OL start equals 0. And for the definition list, so it's basically, it's like a glossary. So we need a term and we need a definition. So we use DL, which is definition list, to create definition list. And we use DT for each, to include each of the definition term, and use DD to include each of the definition. Okay, so let's now see how to implement the code in the HTML. So at here we need to implement an unordered list, so UL, and in the code we have two list items. So the first list item is bullet and numbered lists, and for the second list item is navigations. And for the table of contents, we need to implement the ordered list, and there are 3 list items. So, and for each of them, we have a link to it. So the first one is for the right, and it's unordered list. The second and third item, it's in the same format, but it's for ordered list and definition list. And Here we try to implement a definition list. So with one defined terms. So it's definition list, and we need the definition terms, right? And it is because the angle bracket is the reserved character, so we have to use the entity. And for the definition, for the definition term, the definition is creates an unordered list. So if we run this code, we can see exactly the same.